Good morning, guys. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to the Fearless Morning Show, where we are having confessions and conversations about your everyday life. My name is Yamitra Jojo Waddell, the only Live Past Crazy specialist. So what better place to be than here with me? Good morning, good morning, good morning. Y'all, one day I'm going to sing for y'all. Welcome to the Fearless Morning Show. My name is Yamitra Jojo Waddell, the only Live Past Crazy specialist. So what better place to be than here with me? Good morning, Chip. How you doing? I talked about you the other day, and I was like, I miss hanging out with you guys. Y'all treated us so much like family. And I ain't saying I didn't say I missed your food as well, but it might have been in the sentence. Great morning, Miss Valerie. Good morning. Great morning, everybody. Good morning, Beverly. It's time to rise and shine, sunshine. All right, guys, let me get you started with the quote of the day. And Beverly, since you're just waking up, this is going to be a great starter. Noble and great, courage and determined, faithful and fearless. That's who you are and who you've always been. And understanding it can change your life, because this knowledge carries a confidence that cannot be duplicated any other way. And that's by Sherry L. Drew. Good morning, Nakia. How you doing? Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the Fearless Morning Show. Make sure you share the show, guys. And don't forget, I'm celebrating the whole month of June for my birthday. So I've been giving away a ton of freebies for this month, as well as some classes. So I do have a class that's coming up on tomorrow. And it is the power to change in 6 steps. And so let me post that link right fast so you can go ahead and register for that. It is $14.44. Since I am turning 44, everything will be $14. Well, nothing will be over $14. How about that? Power to change. And then we're going to talk about the 6 things you need to make sure that you stick to the change that you want. How about that? Make sure you share that with a sister, a friend, a co-worker, anybody who you know who needs to live past crazy. And I've given a lot away of free stuff, so I'm going to make one big post of all the freebies so that you can go out and grab your free stuff. And there's a free class out there, the 5 steps to live past crazy, bit.ly 5 keys to live. You can grab that as well. And don't forget, we're doing a book tour. July 27th will be my first stop in Tampa. And then the women's retreat is August the 23rd through the 25th. And that will be in Clearwater, Florida. So I'm excited. All right, so the thought for the day, y'all. First of all, I love that quote. I'll read it one more time and give the thought for the day. Noble and great, courageous and determined, faithful and fearless. That's who you are and who you've always been. And understanding it can change your life, because this knowledge carries a confidence that cannot be duplicated in any other way. And that's by Sherry L. Drew, which ties all the way in. Our thought for the day is, let's start refusing to pretend. This was a big step for me. Like, y'all, when I refused to pretend, when I started doing that, it was the biggest step ever for me. Like, it was a hard one, and it was the biggest one. No, I ain't gonna say it was the biggest one, but it was a big one for me to refuse to pretend. Because how many of us, and I cannot be the only one guilty here, how many of us have been somewhere, been around friends, done things, and we are pretending that we are enjoying it. We are pretending that we want to be there. We are pretending that we like the people. We are pretending that this is the situation that we're comfortable with. We are pretending that this is the job we want. We are pretending that this is the man we love. We are pretending that these are the friends we like. And we are just pretending, but we're not really living. We are fake. We're not real. We're not living true to who we are at our core. And it's hard. So for me, when I first learned to refuse to pretend, I had to stop pretending that it was okay for people to always tell jokes about me. Because I would laugh like, girl, you so funny. And then I just stopped because it's not funny. Why are we at this age telling jokes about that? So I absolutely refuse to pretend. I refuse to pretend that I liked friendships that I've had forever. And they were one-sided friendships, meaning I was the one initiating all the conversation, all the contact, all the, ooh, let's keep in touch, girl. Hey, friend, how you? I refuse to pretend. I stopped. I just stopped. I refuse to pretend that I enjoyed a relationship with a man because everybody assumed I was supposed to enjoy the relationship because of who they were and what they done. I just refuse to pretend. And when I refuse to pretend, I found a little bit more of myself. And I found a little bit more comfort and confidence in saying who I was. Because remember, I talk all the time, we got those new rules to the new you, and that we've got to first hold ourselves accountable to the standards that we want everybody else to meet. So JoJo had a standard, right? And I wanted a man or a friend or anybody coming into my life to meet this standard. Well, if I wanted you to meet this standard, I've got to hold myself accountable to that standard first, right? And so the first thing in holding myself accountable is I absolutely had to refuse to pretend. I had to stop. It's not cute. It ain't funny. I had to stop pretending that I liked the things that were going on in my life. I didn't like hanging out with my friends who went to the club all the time. I didn't like that. I stopped doing that. I stopped that years ago. I refused to stop. I stopped pretending, enjoying conversations that were not in line with what I was thinking. Like your girlfriend called and she got a man or she got a whole husband, but she meet a guy and we're going to talk about this guy like you ain't got a whole husband. I've had to refuse to pretend that that was okay. That's not okay. And I had to start refusing to pretend that I was just going to be the go along to get along girl. Well, you know, JoJo ain't going to say nothing. She's just going to say, girl, you so crazy. Nope. I refused to pretend. And then when I got to that, I ain't going to say it. Yes, it was life-changing. Because when I stopped pretending, when I refused to pretend with people, with my job, with my relationships, with everything else, and hold myself to the standard that I said I wanted from everybody else, my conversation changed. And the people around me, their conversation changed, meaning they knew what to bring to me and what not to bring to me. Because in the beginning, they could bring anything to me, and I'd just be like, oh, and then I'd laugh or I'd joke and be like, oh, girl, no, that's okay. And then I'm left feeling uncomfortable because, yet again, I have allowed myself to get in a situation because I'm pretending to be all things to all people when I'm not. You know, I got on all these hats. JoJo, you know, when I go home to Far City, I'm another person. I go to Union Mills, I'm another person. You know, and I'm mama, sister, wife, ex-wife, girlfriend. It's just too much. And in every aspect of it, you're pretending. And this is most difficult. Confessions and conversation, most difficult for me when I was at work. Because I was pretending at work. And it made it harder for me to accomplish the things I needed to accomplish because I wasn't who I needed to be for myself. And the moment I stopped pretending and decided to be who I needed to be for myself, then everything else became easier. Then the problem that I thought I had all of a sudden wasn't a problem anymore. It just wasn't. It wasn't a problem because it wasn't a problem. I was refusing to pretend. So in my refusing to pretend, I became true to who I was. We absolutely have to refuse to pretend. It's exhausting. It is tiresome. And when we pretend, we are setting ourselves up for failure. And we are setting the people up that we are interacting with up for failure. So if you are pretending that you're this person, let's say you get married, or at a job, or in a friendship, whatever. If you're pretending up to a certain point and you don't have a clue of what you're doing, what you're talking about, it is going to show up somewhere. And then you're going to have to decide, at what point am I going to tell the truth, or am I going to admit that I was just pretending and I refuse to pretend anymore? And don't be, I tell you guys all the time, don't be like me. Don't be 40, or I'll be 44 this year. But at 40, it finally hit me, and then I was like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, don't be like me. You absolutely want to start now refusing to pretend about anything in your life. And if you are like me, please understand, it's better to start the journey now than to wait and let the stuff hit the fan before you be like, you know what, let me stop pretending. Because then you're going to have a lot more work to do. Because this is what I found out the hard way. The more I pretended to be somebody that I was not, the more I pretended to like people, situations, things, and jobs, the more I became addicted to it. Meaning, the more it became my habit. 8 rules of the mind. The more you do a thing, the more it becomes a habit. The more it becomes a habit, the harder it is for you to break from it. So the more you pretend, it's harder for you to break away. And then it's harder for you to find JoJo. It's harder for you to find yourself. Because then you're like, I don't even, who am I? Find my purpose. I don't even know who I am. Understand what I'm supposed to do with my life. I don't even know who I am because I have pretended for so long that I don't know. And you truly don't know the answer. Because you have everybody else's version of your life on your body. And that is a heavy cloth to bear. Those are heavy clothes. That's a heavy weight. That it's just heavy all the way around. And then multiply that. So if you're a woman or a guy, if you're a mama, daddy, add all of your titles. Add all the titles that you have right now. Now, think about how much that you pretend with in all those relationships. You put on a different hat and you pretend a different way and you act a different way for every single body and every title that you carry. Now put on that weight. So yeah, your shoulder hurt, your neck hurt, you have high blood pressure, your head hurt, you got migraines, you can't think straight because you're pretending all day. Guilty. But when you get to the point where you refuse to pretend, I just refuse. Now, if I don't think it's funny, I'm not rude, but I have ensured that the standard that I have set speaks before I open my mouth, and the standard I have set is seen before somebody brings crazy to me. Sometimes people bring crazy to you because they think you like crazy, because crazy is all around you. Been there, done that. That's why I'm the only Live Past Crazy specialist, so what better place to be than here with me. Good morning, Tanya. Thank you. And it's hard. That's the hardest process to go through, to refuse to pretend, to start taking yourself back and be like, and then the reality of it hits you. And then this is how I felt. And I'm always going to do it from my point of view, because this is Confessions and Conversations, JoJo story. And who am I? I'm just from Forest City, Union Mills, worked at McDonald's my whole life. Who am I? So when you when you refuse to pretend and you're going through it, and then the simplicity of it hits you, that I am the only one that can change this. And wow, and then the realization of what you've been pretending, what you've been doing for so long, and you sit down and you look at it, and then you're embarrassed for yourself. I was embarrassed for myself. And then I'm mad. I'm mad at myself, like, JoJo, really? This is what you want to do? Out of all the things you accepted in life, this is it? This is what we're going to do? And then, so then I have that talk with myself, and I can't be the only one that talks to myself. Then I have that talk with myself. What we not fixing to do, JoJo, is do this again. And you can have that talk with yourself. You can get mad, you can get angry, and your feelings can be hurt. But this is where you got to be determined and not committed to, and you got to be interested and not committed to making that change stick. Like, I'm going to make this change. I'm going to refuse to pretend anymore, because you may think you're doing all things for all people when you're not. When you are pretending, you're not serving anybody that you're in contact with. When I was pretending, I was not a good mother to my girls, because I was so busy pretending in all other aspects of my life. I couldn't really be real with my kids. But when I stopped pretending, our relationship, not that it was bad, but it way changed for the better. We were able to have more conversations, do things, and have more of an open relationship. When I stopped pretending, I had a different relationship with my mother. When I stopped pretending, I stopped having friends that I thought I was going to die without before. But then once I stopped pretending and those friends were not around, the stress relief was instantaneous. When I stopped pretending, the relationships that I thought that I needed and that they were finally gone, relief. And sometimes we continue to pretend because, y'all know this is my quote, we'd rather deal with the comfort of crazy than the discipline of freedom. And that simply means I'd rather continue doing this thing because this is what I know than to stop doing this thing and to look at something that I don't know. But baby, you do that every day anyway. You didn't know how to raise a kid, but you had kids. You pushed out a whole human. You carried it, you got it here, and you raised it. You go to a job that you knew nothing about, and you excelled in that. You drive to places you've never been. You do things you don't know all the time. So why is it difficult to do that in your life? Because better the crazy we know than the one we don't. And when we realize that it's going to take more discipline and that it is harder to hold yourself accountable than it is to hold somebody else accountable. Because I can tell you with my mouth, you better not treat me this way. And what we not fixing to do is you not fixing to talk to me this way. Because I can roll and I can point and I can do, I can do all the things. But until I do the work of holding myself accountable, they're just words. This is why we date the same men. We have the same friends. We have the same job. We make the same pay. We live in the same place. Our kids act the same way. And we are continuing the cycle of crazy. Because we're not holding ourselves accountable. Because it's hard. It's hard work. It ain't easy. I ain't saying it's fun. But when you become more important than who you're pretending to be, then you don't care about the hard work. You don't care because you are drowning in yourself. Meaning you have eaten so much of yourself. I don't know who JoJo is anymore. Where is she? Because even if you set me in a room by myself and told me to be quiet, JoJo, find out who you were, it's going to take so many layers to get down to who I really was. That's why I go to the park and swing. Because that's who JoJo is. She loves to swing. That's why I go to the park and ride the bikes. Because I've always ridden bikes and I was the daredevil in my neighborhood. Popped the best wheelies ever. When we pretend all the time, we eat a little bit of ourselves every day. When we pretend around people, when we pretend in relationships, when we pretend at work, we eat a piece of ourselves. So, guilty, how many people have ever started dating Or you're not even dating. You're like, I want to do something fun. And then the next words out of your mouth, I don't even know what I like to do. Guilty. It's because we've been pretending so long. We've been living so many lives, y'all. You living for your mama, your daddy, your sister, your job, your kids, your boo, your man, your husband, your girlfriend, your best friends, the lady down the street, your neighbor. Let's not forget the church. So you living 12 lives. You ain't a cat. You living all these lives. You ain't even living true to who you are. But you're pretending in 12 different locations. You have 12 different people living inside of you. And you wonder why we all crazy. And it is that simple, my sister. It's that simple. And when I realized it is exhausting. Yes, I was the first lady. It's exhausting being the first lady. I had to pretend there. Then I pretending to be a wife. Then there's mother. But then I'm Sophronia's daughter and Gerald Waddell's daughter and Jerry's sister. And throwing a job. Throwing a kid that got activities. Well, then I'm the Girl Scouts mom. Now I'm the band mom. Now I'm the chorus mom. Well, now I'm the Delta mom. Then I got to shuttle kids around. Well, now I got to hang out with the moms. And I got to pretend over here. And then I got to... And when I get home, you want to know why you veg out in front of the TV? Because your mind is beyond exhausted. And the last thing you can do is possibly comprehend how you're going to change your life. Because all you could do was just pretend and make it through the life that you done pretended and made up all day. That's exhausting. It is exhausting. That's why you veg out in front. That's why you would say, JoJo, I don't have time to change my life. Because you're busy pretending and you don't realize you have all of these hours in a day that you're just throwing away. Because if you get off at 5, by the time you feed the kids, get them situated, it's probably like 7:38. So you have 8 to 11, multiply that by 7 days a week. You have a whole nother full-time job of hours that you could work on yourself, live your best life, do whatever you want to do. Stop pretending. But because we don't want to hold ourselves to the standard that we've set for everybody else, we say we don't have time. We veg out in front of the TV. Girl, I'm so tired. All I can do is just sit here. All I want to do is watch my favorite TV shows, drink Pepsi, and eat potato chips. Guilty. Give me some salt and vinegar and a Pepsi on rocks. Glass of wine, thank you. And some chocolate. I'm propping myself up in the bed. That's all I can do because I'm so tired. We're tired from pretending. It's exhausting. And the more we pretend, the more we're going to eat a piece of ourselves, the harder it's going to be for us to figure out who we are. So when somebody say, hey, JoJo, what do you like? The first words out of my mouth is, I don't know. I had this revelation late 30s. It finally hit me at 40. Here I am at 44, finally doing the things that JoJo liked to do. And it took me going back to living in Far City. If y'all know, y'all know what a New Bethel AME Zion Church is? I lived right across the street. I lived there before there was a New Bethel. Rode my bike up and down that hill. I went back to who that little girl was. I ride my bike. I pop my wheelies. I go slide on the swings. I go to the park. I slide down the slide. I'm in the swings. I'm having myself a good time. But I couldn't get there in the beginning because I was so busy pretending, and I'd eaten so much of myself that I had lost myself. And then I had to do the work of finding out who I was at 40. Who does that at 40? Don't be like me. And then the moment it hit me, it's okay to be JoJo and all that it means to be me. It's okay. When I realized it was okay to do that, then I could take a deep breath. Then I could stop pretending. You may say, I don't pretend like JoJo. I don't be pretending because this is who I am. No, boo. You pretending. I guarantee you. I promise you. Period. If you're quiet with yourself, you know, right when you're taking a shower, right before you go to sleep, right when you go to sleep praying, you know how we go to sleep when we pray, Lord, thank you for the day, and then we sleep. Right there, that's when the real you comes out. That's when you get to lay down all the pretending, and you're like, I'm so darn tired, I can't see straight. I don't know. I can't keep doing this. But what do you do tomorrow morning? You get up, you get dressed, and you pretend all over again. There's a difference between pretending and being confident. There's a difference between pretending and changing who you are. There's a difference between pretending and wanting something different. Pretending means I'm not living true to who I am. Period. And if I'm not doing that, then whose life am I really living? And if you got mama issues, you live in your mama's dream. You don't want to go no further than what your mama went because you don't want to hurt her feelings, because you don't want her to assume that the life she has set up is not good enough for you. And are you doing the same thing for your children? That is a question I had to ask myself. And the more you pretend, the more you eat who you are, the more you suck it in, the more you decide that you're going to change for this person and that person, the more you pretend, the more you will lose yourself. And the more you're going to become, I ain't going to say you become bitter and angry and frustrated, but it's going to help you on your way. And then at 50 and 60, you're going to sit down and realize, where am I? What am I doing? You got to be willing to have the discipline of freedom now to get out of the crazy that you're in. I'd rather have the discipline of crazy, the discipline of freedom, than the pleasure of crazy. And some of us, we've been doing it for so long, we don't know how to stop. I don't know how to stop pretending, JoJo. Cool. That's great. You're in a perfect space. If you don't know how to stop pretending, today is your absolutely most amazing day ever. You woke up, and today is the day that you get to decide. One step at a time. I'm not pretending. Pick one area, pick one aspect, and just be you. I'm goofy. I like to talk. And then, y'all, this is all revelations for me. When I stopped pretending, I understood what I wanted to do with my career. When I stopped pretending, I understood what I wanted out of a relationship, out of a marriage, out of my friendships. When I stopped pretending, it's like everything was uncovered and it became so much clearer when I stopped pretending. When I stopped doing things that everybody else wanted me to do. When I stopped being everything everybody wanted me to be. It was liberating. And then, so let me share this one. Another confession. So had no idea what to do. I've been in healthcare for 20 years. I've done everything in healthcare from being a secretary to now compliance. I've done everything in healthcare. Had no idea what I wanted to do. And then when I went back over my career, I realized that I love to teach and train. And if you know anything about JoJo, if anybody's on here from Forest City and ever been to my house, you know in the summertime, I had a library, right? I put my books out on the carport and I will let people in the neighborhood check out my books. I want to own a bookstore. I will own a bookstore. Period. That's going to happen. But when I look back over, I was always talking to the neighborhood kids, teaching neighborhood kids, doing something that involved me sharing information. And when I stopped pretending that, I was all of these extra things and went back and took some quiet time and understood it, then I understood my career path. But sometimes, this is what I know. And when you refuse to pretend, you are truly living who you are at your core. You don't have the mama issues anymore. You don't have the daddy issues, the sister. I don't have everybody's title on me anymore. I'm just who I am. When I refuse to pretend, it is easier to speak your truth. It is easier to stand in it. And it is easier for you to say no, to acknowledge what you like, what you don't like. And it is easier for you to decide the path that you want to follow in life. And here's another thing. When you refuse to pretend, you actually start taking action. Because you can say all day, I don't have the time. Oh, I'm so tired when I get home. You don't understand. By the time I take care of these kids and sit down, all I want to do is sit in front of my TV. So we already established that from 8 to 11, 9, 10, 11, 8, 9, 10, that's 4 hours, right? Or 3. Multiply that by 7 days a week. You got another part-time job of hours that you could have been working on yourself. You could have been living your best life. You could have been refusing to pretend, actually holding yourself to the standard that you want everybody else to hold to. Because this is what I know. We can go to church. We can pray all the things. The Holy Ghost can fall on you. You can be deep fried in the Holy Spirit. You can be saturated in the oil. He can spray you down with a spray bottle with holy oil. He can do all the things. You can fall out. You can roll around in the floor. You can shout the church over. You can run around the building. You can ask the pastor to pray for you. They can lay other hands on you. And the minute it stops, when you're pretending, the minute all of that goes away, because you're feeling good in the spirit, church made you feel good, A to the man. The minute service is over, the minute the people are gone, you pick your crazy back up. You pick your problem back up. You pick your frustration back up. You pick up your pretending again. You put on your hat. You put on your mama issues. You put on your daddy issues, your sister issues, your body issues. You put on your marriage issues. Well, JoJo, I'm divorced. I've been married this many times. Whole lots of them. I've had a whole lot of names. Pick one. When you start picking up everything that you just prayed that Jesus relieved you from, you pick it back up and take it back out the door with you, because you're like, oh, thank you, God, I've been delivered. And then you make it to the front door of the church. You be like, oh, wait a minute, I forgot my crazy. And you go back and get it. Tell me, what was the purpose of you praying? What was the purpose of the laying on the hands? What was the purpose for the Holy Spirit to fall on you if you're going to continue to pretend like you did when you first stepped in there? What was the whole point of your prayer? Because if we're going to continue it, then why do we pray to have relief from it? It's because we rather have the comfort of crazy than the discipline of freedom. And that means I would rather to continue to complain that I can't find a job, that my friends don't love me, my mama don't love me, I don't like myself, I can't find a man. I would rather hold on to that story because I know that story and it gives me this outcome, than to say, I'm not any of these stories. Let me focus on what I need to focus on. I'm going to hold myself to the standard that I'm holding everybody else to. I'm going to do this work. Because some of us, we like the story. Because if JoJo can't say, ooh, child, this job, this, if I can't complain, then that means I've got to take responsibility for my actions. But the more I can complain, the more I can keep telling that same story. Well, my mama, she don't love me. She treat my sister different than me. Well, my daddy. And them people at my job. As long as I can tell that story, I don't have to take responsibility for any change in my life. And then I can continue in my crazy. I will never find my job because I'm never looking for it. Because I like to say I don't have a job. I like saying I hate it. Because I don't have to take responsibility. The minute I change my focus, please go back and read the 8 rules of the mind. Rule number 8. Rule number 6. Rule number 6 says, as humans, 70% of our ailments in our body are because of our negative thoughts that we had, and they are manifesting in our body. That means we're not really sick. It means what we thought has now showed up in our body and it is making us sick. Let me show you an example. What happens when you get mad? I've been so mad I threw up. That is your thoughts having a negative reaction on your body. I've been so mad my blood pressure has went out the roof. My face has turned red. I had ringing in my ears. I couldn't see. That is your words having an effect on your body. Anger shows up in your adrenal glands, which affects your bloodstream, which is diabetes, which is high blood pressure, which is high cholesterol, which is all things in your neural system. Worry shows up in your stomach, which is, ooh, my stomach hurt, guilty. Ooh, I don't understand why my stomach doing this. Because I've been that upset that my stomach physically ached, like I was balled over in anger. That is your words immediately having an effect on your body. 70% of our illness are our words affecting our body. So think about this. Are we really sick? Or are we speaking negativity so much so in our life that it is now manifested in our body? That's why this doesn't go down. That's why the pain here never goes away. That's why the hands will always hurt. The knee, the hip, the back, It will never go away because the words that I'm speaking, A to the men, are manifesting in my body. Your body will give you. Rule number 3 is what tends to be expected is what is given. If I'm expecting this to hurt, if I'm expecting crazy to continue, again, your brain wants to give you exactly what you're asking for. So if you say, I can't find a job, your brain is going to make sure you can't find one. If you say, I hate these people, your brain is going to make sure that you do. Your brain is going to do whatever you tell it to do. Period. So on this Thinking Tuesday, refuse to pretend, because that's the thought of the day. Refuse to pretend. Be true to who you are. Take some time. Here's the quote for the day. Noble and great, courageous and determined, faithful and fearless. That is who you are and who you've always been. And understanding it can change your life, because this knowledge carries a confidence that cannot be duplicated in any other way. And that is by Sherry L. Drew. So that goes hand in hand with the thought for the day, which is refusing to pretend. When you refuse to pretend, when you hold yourself accountable, when you become committed and not just interested. Because if you're interested in the thing, as soon as you become interested in it and something comes up, you be like, I can't do that because, I got to do this and this. When you're interested in something, the excuses will take you away from it. When you become committed to something, there's no excuses that can take you away from it. So you got to realize, are you interested and committed in yourself? So refuse pretending today. Don't pretend today. Be all things JoJo. And as Oprah Winfrey says, when somebody says you're full of yourself, say thank you. That means you're full of all things you. You are full of all knowing of yourself. You are full of what you need and what you don't need. You are full of all the acceptance and love that you have for yourself. And your cup runneth over so that you have extra to loan to give to somebody else. So that is the fearless thought for today. I hope it has helped somebody. Please make sure you share the show, because sharing is caring. And don't forget, if your friends and family do not have Facebook, we do have a YouTube channel so they can binge watch all the Fearless Morning shows. I want to say we're like 390, almost 400 shows strong over there. This is the 10th day of my birthday. No, the 11th day of my birthday month. So I've been doing freebies for the whole month. I will do a link for all the freebies that I've had. Today it is a class that is coming up that I will be doing tomorrow. And if you're interested in that, I'm going to post the link. Hold on one second. I'm going to post the link for you right here. And that class is $14.44. Nothing is over $14 because I'm turning 44. I'm excited. So I want a birthday party. I haven't had a birthday party since I was 5. I want a birthday party. I want to go to Vegas. I want to reenact. Why won't let me do that? I want to reenact Think Like a Man, where they sing Poison on the bar, and I really want to fall back in the crowd and people carry me. I want to do that. I want to do that. I want a birthday party. There's no shame in my game. So I am celebrating my birthday, and I don't know why it won't let me post. The link to the class is bit.ly/6to-change. Let me make sure. Yeah, 6 to change, but Facebook won't let me post it for some reason. So that's the class. It's tomorrow at 8 p.m., $14.44, and you can grab that. bit.ly/6to-change. Thank you, Miss Beverly. I really hope it has, man. Yeah. I share it with my sister because I'm a firm believer. I am my sister's keeper. If I can share one thing that's going to help my sister, and she will impact her family, she will change the community, and we will change the world. If you want change to happen, you educate a woman, and she will change her family. Because women, we're far stronger than we ever imagined. Our leadership inside the community is amazing. We take that for granted. Think about the sisters in the church. Think about church people. You're going to talk about sister so-and-so first before you talk about brother, right? And that sister in that church shaped your life. The lady in your community, you watched her, she changed your life. Your teacher, she changed your life. Women, we are powerful. And until we realize just how powerful we are, separately, imagine what we could do if we were on one accord and together. I am my sister's keeper. Y'all, my ear itching. I'm real country. Hold on. I'm just saying. We are powerful. Let's not negate our power. When we stop pretending, you'll understand your power. You'll be confident to work in it. What's my quote? Strengthen your voice by speaking your truth. No, that's not it. There's one about power. I have to find it. I'm just saying, y'all. All right. I hope you have an amazing day. Remember, you are your sister's keeper. Inspire a sister. Compliment a sister today. Black, white, green, yellow, it don't matter. Compliment a woman today. Watch it change her life. Watch her smile because she's not expecting it. I promise you just changed her mental attitude for the entire day. The entire day. So be your sister's keeper today. I hope you have an amazing Tuesday. Please refuse to pretend today. Absolutely refuse to pretend today. Don't do it. Be true to who you are in your core. It is exhausting to pretend to be somebody else. It's hard work. And here's my thing. If I'm going to work so hard to pretend to be somebody else, I might as well work hard to be JoJo. Right? I might as well. You might as well go all out for you if you're going all out for somebody else. And then be committed to that. That's why we don't know who we are, or we don't understand what it is that we like to do. You look up and you're 65 and you lived your entire life for somebody else. And now you're trying to figure it out. I don't want to be that way. I want to live my best life now. I want to retire. I'm 44. I wrote my Bible. This is no joke. I wrote my Bible at 38. I want to retire at 45. I will be 44 in next week on the 29th. That's 2 weeks away. I want to retire at 45. That means I have 1 year to make that happen. I want a bookstore. And retire, I mean retire from working from somebody else. It will happen because I am determined. And there's nothing more powerful than a determined woman. Person. You ain't got to be a woman. Period. Here's the quote for the day. Noble and great, courageous and determined, faithful and fearless. That's who you are and who you've always been. And understanding it can change your life because this knowledge carries a confidence that cannot be duplicated in any other way. I am my sister's keeper. I am my brother's keeper, y'all. We can change this world. Help a brother or sister out. Share some information today. This world is big enough for everybody. Today, refuse to pretend. Be who you are. Don't wait. But know there's going to be work getting down to who you are so that you know what you're pretending in and what you're not. So I hope this has helped somebody. Please don't forget, if your friends and family don't have Facebook, we are on YouTube. We are almost 400 shows strong on YouTube. Simply go to YouTube and type in Fearless Morning Show and we will pop up. Or you can Google it and all the Fearless Morning Show videos will pop up over there. Hope you have an amazing day. Don't forget, I will coming back on live today for the freebie for today. But tomorrow we are doing a class, bit.ly/6 to change, SIX to change. And that we're talking about the 6 powerful steps to change and how to make it stick and why it doesn't, why your change hasn't stuck and why you keep going over crazy over again, because it will continue. And then not only your crazy continue to become hereditary, and then you're leaving a legacy of crazy for your family. You don't want that. I carry my name very strong. I'm very proud of every last name I got, and I will uphold them to the best of my ability. And I'm careful of the legacy that I'm leaving with every last one of them. But if you're not mindful of what's going on in your situation, the legacy you're leaving may be a legacy of crazy. And you don't want that. So today, refuse to pretend. Good morning, Michael. How are you? Michael, you're going to have to catch the replay. So we're ending the show. Michael is our resident guide on here. So we thank Michael so much for coming on every morning, the Fearless Morning Show. We greatly appreciate you. My name is Yamitra JoJo Waddell, the only Live Past Crazy specialist. So what better place to be than here with me? Have an amazing Tuesday, and I'll see you guys later on this evening. Have a good one.